Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjavashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Svayambhupa Kadama Yam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shirutapakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vanchakalpa Tarabhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So on this very auspicious day of Padmini Ekadashi in the Adhika Purushottam month, which is also very, very auspicious because every activity done in this month is multiplied by 1000. So I decided, apart from reading from the Slovak version of Bhagavad-gītā, to read also from the English one, this one. So we start. The chapter setting the scene. Although widely published and read by itself, Bhagavad-gītā originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad-gītā to his friend and devotee Arjuna. So, yeah, so Bhagavad-gītā is part of Mahabharata, the big literary work of which depicts some history, ancient history. So Bhagavad-gītā is kind of part of it, but also is published as a book on its own. Their discourse, one of the greatest philosophical and religious dialogues known to man, took place just before the onset of war, a great fratricidal conflict between the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and on the opposing side their cousins, the Pandavas, or sons of Pandu. So there were two parties participating in this war. One was the party of the Pandavas, where also Krishna was on their side, and the other one was the sons of Dhritarashtra, or Kurus. Dhritarashtra and Pandu were brothers born in the Kuru dynasty, descending from King Bharata, a former ruler of the earth, from whom the name Mahabharata derives, because Dhritarashtra, the older brother, was born blind. The throne that otherwise would have been his was passed down to the younger brother Pandu. When Pandu died at an early age, his 5 children, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, and Sahadeva, came under the care of Dhritarashtra, who in effect became, for the time being, the king. Thus the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu grew up in the same royal household. Both were trained in the military arts by the expert Drona and counseled by the revered grandfather of the clan Bhishma. Yet the sons of Dhritarashtra, especially the eldest Duryodhana, hated and envied the Pandavas. And the blind and weak-minded Dhritarashtra wanted his own sons, not those of Pandu, to inherit the kingdom. Thus Duryodhana, with Dhritarashtra's consent, plotted to kill the young sons of Pandu, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin Lord Krishna that the Pandavas escaped the many attempts against their lives. So, as I was mentioning also in the sections which I'm reading in the Slovak language, the place where I live now is called Mayapur, is the holy Dham in India, in West Bengal state, and quite nearby is nearby, maybe 200 kilometers from here to the north, is another holy place which is called Ekachakra, and in this place also is the history of Pandavas being there, hiding under the protection of one Brahmin, one priest. So and there are also some pastimes of them being there, like there was some demon, or it was not demon, kind of demon, Rakshas is the correct description, because he was eating humans. So Pandavas were also engaged in killing this demon there, because it was disturbing all the region. And particularly Bhima was the one who killed this demon. So thus Duryodhana, with Dhritarashtra's consent, plotted to kill the young sons of Pandu, and it was only by the careful protection of their uncle Vidura and their cousin Lord Krishna that the Pandavas escaped the many attempts against their lives. Now Lord Krishna was not an ordinary man, but the Supreme Godhead himself, who had descended to earth and was playing the role of a prince in a contemporary dynasty. In this role, he was also the nephew of the Pandu's wife Kunti, or Prita, the mother of the Pandavas. So both as a relative and as the eternal upholder of religion, Krishna favored the righteous sons of Pandu and protected them. Ultimately, however, the clever Duryodhana challenged the Pandavas to a gambling match. In the course of that fateful tournament, Duryodhana and his brothers took possession of Draupadi, the chaste and devoted wife of the Pandavas, and insultingly tried to strip her naked before the entire assembly of princes and kings. Krishna's divine intervention saved her, but the gambling, which was rigged, cheated the Pandavas of their kingdom and forced them to 13 years of exile. Upon returning from exile, the Pandavas rightfully requested their kingdom from Duryodhana, who bluntly refused to yield it. Duty-bound as princes to serve in public administration, the 5 Pandavas reduced their request to a mere 5 villages, but Duryodhana arrogantly replied that he wouldn't spare them enough land into which to drive a pin. Throughout all this, the Pandavas had been consistently tolerant and forbearing, but now the war was seen inevitable. It's interesting with this princely order, or in Sanskrit called kshatriyas, that their nature is just to be rulers or to be engaged in administration. So not only like there are different natures, like maybe businessmen, so they need this opportunity to be engaged in their nature. So they even did not ask for the whole kingdom, but they requested at least some village to give protection to. But even this was refused, so it was quite harsh to them. So gradually it glided to the war, which was now inevitable. Nonetheless, as the princes of the world divided, some siding with the sons of Dhritarashtra, others with the Pandavas, Krishna himself took the role of messenger for the sons of Pandu and went to the court of Dhritarashtra to plead for peace. When his plea was refused, war was now certain. The Pandavas, men of the highest moral stature, recognized Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the impious sons of Dhritarashtra did not. Yet Krishna offered to enter the war according to the desire of the antagonists. As God, he would not personally fight, but whoever so desired might avail himself as of Krishna's army, and the other side could have Krishna himself as an advisor and helper. Duryodhana, the political genius, snatched at Krishna's armed forces, while the Pandavas were equally eager to have Krishna himself. So Krishna was not fighting directly in this war. He just offered his army, and he offered also his consultation to some party who would be interested. So Pandavas naturally chose Krishna. In this way, Krishna became the charioteer of Arjuna, taking it upon himself to drive the fabled bowman's chariot. This brings us to the point at which Bhagavad-gītā begins, with the two armies ready for combat, and Dhritarashtra anxiously inquiring of his secretary Sanjaya, what did they do? The scene is set with only the need for a brief note regarding this translation and commentary. The general pattern translators have followed in rendering Bhagavad-gītā into English has been to brush aside the person Krishna to make room for their own concepts and philosophies. The history of the Mahabharata is taken as quaint mythology, and Krishna becomes a poetic device for presenting the ideas of some anonymous genius. Or at best, he becomes a minor historical personage. So, this is what is happening when unscrupulous persons are delving into such literary works as Bhagavad-gītā. They don't understand the purpose of Bhagavad-gītā, so they have their own interpretations, and they are twisting the meaning of Bhagavad-gītā in this way because they have some personal interest why they are doing it. So, and also very important thing for the souls or human beings in this material world is because we are here because we wanted to forget Krishna. So naturally, when the literature about God or Krishna comes, so naturally we want to erase him again, right? So he's not bothering us, and we can be peaceful here in this material world, pretending that we are gods ourselves. So this is the basic motivations of anyone who is in the material world. So, but the person Krishna is both the goal and the substance of Bhagavad-gītā, so far as the Gita speaks of itself. This translation then and the commentary that accompanies it propose to direct the reader to Krishna rather than away from him. The Bhagavad-gītā thus becomes wholly consistent and comprehensible, since Krishna is the speaker of the Gita and its ultimate goal as well. The Bhagavad-gītā, as it is, presents this great scripture in its true terms. This is also important when they are interpreting something, because interpretation happens when they pick just part of the work. They are not taking the work as a whole. So in this way, they can make interpretation. But if they took it as a whole, which is surprising also that Krishna is of some value there, or of some importance, so that that would not be possible to make these interpretations. So this attempt to bring Bhagavad-gīta as it is the attempt to present this very consistently and comprehensively, and Krishna also of course is included there. So that's it for this session. Next we continue with preface. Hare Krishna.